Jason Gilbo here with Rob Mazika, taking a look at tonight's three-game NBA slate. Just three games, all high totals, all in play, and hopefully we actually get dry courts in all three games.
Yeah, three games tonight. If you choose to participate in the slate, you're really gonna want to use anyone from every game. There's not really a game where you want to ignore on a three-game slate.
No, there's really not. I mean, basically all these ones over 200. That Washington Phoenix game up there 225. I'm really intrigued with that one.
Yeah, me too. As long as that stays close, which it should, it will probably be the highest scoring one.
And as far as Portland OKC goes, this one, first one on the board, you got a premium, point guard matchup with Westbrook and Lillard. Both are really in play, and it's another one of those nights where it's just you lock in Westbrook.
Yeah, you lock in Westbrook no matter what. But on the Portland side, I like Lillard too because we like playing the opposing point guard to Westbrook with all those turnovers he gets, and he really just focuses more on the offensive end. So Lillard could have a big game.
Yeah, and he's on the cheaper side in comparison to some of these other point guards.
Yeah, definitely.
As far as the front court, I mean, I like Nurkic. There's always risk with him, but his price did jump significantly. He was 5,900 on FanDuel last night. Didn't even play, but now he's 6,700. I don't mind him on a short slate.
I don't mind him either. He's killed Oklahoma City 3 times this year too for over 35 fantasy points. It's just a great spot for him.
Anyone else you're looking at? I mean, Enes Kanter, GPP play. I always don't mind him. Price is in a decent spot to take as well.
Yeah, on the Oklahoma side, obviously just Westbrook. He's my top pay-up option tonight. I'm paying up for him no matter what, pretty much. Kanter and Adams are good GPP plays, but if you need to find a cheap value, I think Taj Gibson's a good one.
Yeah, I like Gibson. I mean, really cheap on both sides. I'm not really interested in any of these Portland secondary players like Harkless or Aminu tonight, are you?
No, I'm not.
Anyone else from this one?
That's it.
LA and Dallas next here, and this one the lower scoring total of the night, but still playable. 10-point spread, but I'm not really buying into it. Dallas isn't a blowout type team.
Nah, Dallas really doesn't blow anyone out. But I mean, both teams they're not good at all. But Dallas should win this one. The only real player on the Lakers though that I have interest in is maybe some D'Angelo Russell. His price is a little high, but I mean, I have slight interest.
I like him on FanDuel. I mean, 6,400 is not too bad. I still think my favorite player from this game is Seth Curry just because he's been uber consistent, shooting the ball really well and obviously a great spot against the Lakers. I don't even mind Dirk. I think Dirk's probably come a close second just because, he's going to go out there and get around 30 fantasy points.
Yeah, I like Seth Curry. I like Dirk. I like mainly most of the players in this starting lineup for Dallas. Noel, Dirk, Barnes, Matthews. They're all in a good spot because the Lakers are such a bad defensive team, and it's a paced-up game for Dallas, so, I mean, everyone gets a little bit of a bump.
Yeah, and I don't mind dropping down from Curry to Matthews either if you need to save that cash. I mean, I think Curry has a higher floor right now and a higher ceiling, obviously, but we know Matthews is going to come through with a decent outing.
Yeah, eventually one of these games, Matthews is going to catch fire, and he's going to score that 40 fantasy point game that he just randomly does here and there. But lately he hasn't looked great because, it's been the Seth Curry show for them, but it's still a good spot for him against the Lakers, and he could obviously go off.
How do you feel about Julius Randle? I mean, he's one of those guys who can be kind of boring at times. And I think on a 3-game slate, obviously, I think the interest is higher. But decent spot against a bad Dallas rebounding team.
I always have some interest in Julius Randle just because he has triple-double upside anytime he steps on the court. The only thing that is making me stay away a little bit is his home road splits. He averages 6.5 less points on the road than he does at home. And they're on the road in this one, so that's a little cause for concern, but otherwise he still has the upside.
Yeah, he does. And anyone else here you like?
No, I can't use Brandon Ingram, even though his price is cheap and he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's just not a good player yet. He will be good probably, but he's very inconsistent, cheap priced. He gets the minutes. Just personally, I'm not going to be on him.
No, I mean, if he's seeing Wesley Matthews, I think is an above-average defender. There's no way I can really use Ingram. And I don't even think you need to dive down just because it's filled with mid-range options tonight anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Washington Phoenix, this is my favorite game of the night. And really, I'm looking at Washington's backcourt. I think John Wall's a really interesting swerve off of Bledsoe because, one, Westbrook, you're saving some cash. And this is a guy who can go off in this type of matchup.
Yeah, if you really just can't get Westbrook to fit, I mean, John Wall, you have to have either Westbrook or John Wall tonight, I think, unless you're going with the complete mid-range approach and hoping both these guys just flop, but it's very unlikely that they both do. It's a great spot for John Wall. He could get, maybe 65 fantasy points as upside on DraftKings, which is a decent amount. But 11K, I mean, I don't know if I want to take that risk at that price.
Yeah, that's always the debate. And I mean, if you're rolling out multiple lineups, I think it's a little bit easier to sneak him in a few times.
Yeah, if you're playing 10 lineups, maybe 3 John Wall lineups aren't a bad idea.
And the other point guard I'm interested in this one is Tyler Ulis, who, coming off a big game against Boston, the price is starting to come up a little bit. Back-to-back 30-plus fantasy point games. Even in a tougher matchup against this backcourt, I mean, we know the pace is going to be up, and Ulis has just been playing really well.
Yeah, Ulis is probably your top value of the night for cash, tournaments, everything with the way he's been playing lately. Only 4,600 on DraftKings, but over 24 fantasy points in the last 3 games with over 30 in the last 2. He's getting big minutes, and he had that game-winning shot the other night. So it could be another spot where he gets a lot of minutes.
Do you have any interest in Bledsoe? I mean, I feel like he's probably going to come in as the lowest owned point guard.
I love Bledsoe tonight. He absolutely owned this Washington team last time they played. He's gonna, like you said, he's gonna come in lower owned, and I love getting players with a ton of upside that are low owned.
And his price has dropped a little bit. I mean, 8,200 is certainly reasonable. One of the cheaper ones, comparison to Wall and Lillard and Westbrook. Bradley Beal's, I think a really good points per dollar play from this one. He's been actually, heating up from the field of late.
Yeah, he has been shooting really well. His price is really high, 7,800 on DraftKings. But over 40 fantasy points in 3 out of his last 4 games and 4 out of his last 6. So it's definitely a good spot with him shooting the ball well.
Yeah, as you said, the price is really high. Good matchup against Phoenix. In that one, I mean, Devin Booker, I'm kind of overlooking tonight. I mean, it's a decent spot, but I don't know. I feel like there's better ways to spend.
Yeah, there's better ways to spend. The only issue with that is he could get hot and put out a 40 fantasy point game, but it's unlikely in this matchup that he does.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen any upside in a long time. But as you said, I mean, this is a guy who can get hot, but obviously he needs to score for that to happen. He's not a peripheral producer.
Yeah, one guy we glossed over, and his price went really high, but Allen Williams, 6,700 on DraftKings. He's been killing it lately. The last 3 games, over 35 fantasy points. Against Washington, he'll probably be up against Gortat, who's not the best defender, and if he's getting the minutes, he's been performing with them lately.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I mean, he's my favorite center, especially over on FanDuel, where he's only 5,500. As you mentioned, the DK price is rather high. Marquise Chris, interesting GPP guy because he is a little bit hit or miss, but there's some potential there. I mean, we saw it against Boston. He does have some block upside. So I do like him in tournaments. I think he's a good swerve.
Yeah, he's definitely a solid play in tournaments.
You buying into any Markieff Morris revenge, or you kind of off of him?
Maybe a couple shares, but not really too much.
I like him tonight. I mean, I think one, just because it's a little bit lacking in the position. So, I mean, if you have extra cash, I don't mind using it. And I think the only one that I'm really looking at from this one is TJ Warren, and actually Bogdanovich in a tournament as well.
Yeah, both those guys are solid tournament plays, especially on FanDuel where you need to roster 2 small forwards.
Let's change it up. Who do you think is going to be a letdown tonight?
Oh, that's a tough one. Do you have a specific price tier or no?
Nah, it could be anyone.
Anyone? I could see Lillard just having a bad game. I just have that feeling. I don't know if he's going to come in high owned or not, but it's a good matchup. But there's been times on the road where he's just played really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. I think Bledsoe as well. I think Bledsoe's a guy, not because he has a bad game, but maybe because the minutes dropped down a little bit. I mean, we've seen a couple of times where he's only hovered around like 28 or 29.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, especially with his higher price too than he's been lately this year. He could definitely let you down.
Yeah, but obviously both still in play on a 3-game slate.
Oh, 100%.
So that's going to wrap things up. Be sure to head over to dailyfantasycafe.com and check out our great tools and content.
Yeah, good luck, and don't go crazy tonight.